me to open up?
Coach, Lee Corso announced his retirement today. What are your memories of him and what he means to college football?
Well, I think every Saturday, at least when your schedule allows, and you turn on the TV, college game day and all that is certainly right there front and center and entertaining for the fans, and obviously there's a history as a coach too. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who are going to miss what he brings each and every weekend.
Coach, what did you find out about your team this spring that surprised you maybe?
Well, the things I was hoping for, we saw a lot of those areas of improvement, and I just think we're so much further along. Obviously, you should be, but I think the depth piece is what's coming along, and a lot of younger guys getting a lot of reps, and so you're going to need that when it comes to playing a full season. We ran into some times where we were just scraping by a year ago, and hopefully, just the way the spring went, we are in a position where we can sustain the energy and have the health that we need to carry on and be successful for a full year.
I feel like this time last year you were just full throttle. Now a year later, standing in this exact same spot. How does it feel, and what all has changed?
There's a lot, just familiarity with even an event like this, and just seeing familiar faces here. As I talked to you, it's much like that with the team. We're doing individual meetings, for example, and those meetings a year ago were still get to knows, and I just think that now we're talking about what we've been through and really how we need to attack the days and the months ahead of us. And so just everything is shifted towards the relationships being deeper, and the experiences we share and the experiences that we want to have in the future. Everything's working towards that. Coaching staff and the continuity too, that's a big deal. We're able to evolve and adjust to what our personnel and us having a better understanding of that, and also just adjusting things that you install and want to continue to develop and kind of go off on the different tangents with offense and defensive schemes.
Kalen, over the last few days especially, what has kind of been your message to Austin Mack and kind of the game plan in terms of his development over the course of the summer?
All three of them just keep pushing, keep pressing. All three quarterbacks need to continue to get better here this summer, and Austin would be exactly that, and he knows that, and he's going to do that until the last day he steps on the football field, because that's just who he is. He's one of the hardest workers on the football team, and so I don't ever have to question whether that's going to happen. He's got extreme arm talent, and he, along with those other guys in that room, I know we're going to have a great competitive and healthy summer of working together, but also competing for that spot.
Coach, as a head coach, you're always taking other nuggets from other coaches and implementing them and learning for yourself. Your daughter plays softball at the Division I level. What nuggets have you gotten from her coaches that help you at the University of Alabama?
Well, I think probably the thing I as your kids, and I think when you are you have kids of your own, from the day that they're born, you look at the coaching job and the profession in a way where these are someone else's kids, and especially as they get older and they get to that high school age and now on to college, I know I take even a deeper look into the words I'm saying and how we interact and how meaningful that time is. I think kids inherently are just they're pleasers. They want to do what the adults, and in this case the coaching staff want them to do, and the things that we're coaching them, they're going to go above and beyond. So I guide the coaching staff too and tell them to just be really careful on what we say, how we say it. We got to do our job. We need to teach them, critique them, demand excellence and greatness out of them, hold them accountable, all of that. But it certainly hits you a little different when you have kids that age going through the same thing at this time.
Coach, do you mind playing two quarterbacks?
I think it's a lot easier to just have one out there, be in a rhythm. There's been times where I've started seasons doing that, and we've gotten through it. I can think 2 or 3 in particular, where you went 4 or 5 games, but that's not really our mindset right now. I think we get to the fall, we want to be settled in, and I think that helps just all around with leadership. And but you got to do what you got to do, and I just think that most of the quarterbacks we have, or all three quarterbacks we have, are all very similar. Maybe if you had one that was completely different than the other, you have packages and so forth, but I don't think that's the case for us.
The portal is open. You've been pretty fortunate so far, but how active do you anticipate being?
Yeah, I think there'll be some, there's, I guess from our standpoint, any way you can improve the roster, we will do that. So we've been, very good at, I think the last portals, in December, that window there. I think we did a really good job of managing the roster, especially with kind of areas that we need to open up and make room for guys coming in, and just find that right mix of guys that are returning with newcomers that came on board. I really like, obviously our freshman class, they were extremely highly regarded, but also the few transfers we brought in have really settled in and done a good job of just going to work and have been accepted in a great way by the rest of the team.
Obviously, both Ryan and Deontay are from here, kind of leaders on both the offense and defensive side. What have you seen so far in the offseason, and what do you expect from them over the next few weeks and months?
Yeah, we want them to get healthy, and Deontay's doing an amazing job while he's been coming back from his injury of just being a leader, coaching, being engaged. That's hard to do. That's harder than people realize, and he's been right there in the middle of it all. And there's this guy eats, sleeps, and breathes football. He's all about Alabama, and he wants to leave this place on a high note, not just for himself but the program. And so he's been extremely engaged. We've had more talks, this last couple months than we had time to do all last season. So that's been really enjoyable on my end. And Ryan, just taking those next steps, year 1 to year 2, it's a big deal. And he's just in it. He's a great teammate, as you all know, just an unbelievable young man. And no doubt in my mind, he'd be out there taking that next step on what he did last season.
You guys mentioned, Daniel Hill, Richard Young, Jay Miller a lot. I'm curious about what you saw this spring from AK and Kalen Washington.
Yeah, I think Draylen, really had his moments where he popped and did some things. Can think of a couple nice runs and some team times where that we were going full contact, taken to the ground, and broke some tackles, made some people miss. I think he does a good job reading blocks, and that's just a matter of continuing to learn the offense, which I thought he really did a good job of, considering it was his first semester with us. AK is a freshman, just got the growth. He's made great strides in the weight room, and so just stay the course, for him, much like many of the other freshmen.
Coach, last year, Kane Womack, your defensive coordinator, came in, and toward the end of the season, the defense got better as the time went on. Talk about having him on staff. You mentioned the continuity as well.
Yeah, I think Kane, and the leadership that he brought, and he just stayed the course. Did a great job of the middle of the season. They were really, they were the beginning of the season. There were just some ups and downs, some inconsistencies. He stayed the course, made some small tweaks to what we did, but it was still within the framework of what he wanted to do. It's just understand your personnel better, and then we get to the middle of the season and the injuries started mounting up a little bit more. Maybe not noticeable on the outside as much as it was inside, and I can't give he, along with the staff, enough credit to keep those guys motivated, keep them aligned, keep them moving forward. And then as we got guys back, you saw the uptick again, and more and more steps being taken. So they really had a nice spring in general. There's a lot of confidence on that side of the ball. He breathes confidence and life into the defense. He understands the big picture, so I appreciate that as the head coach as well.
You mentioned the transfer portal just a minute ago, and you don't have to speak on another team's situation, but obviously there's just so much going on right now. As you meet with your coaches, as you meet with your staff, as you lay in bed thinking about the state of college football right now, what are some of the things that come to mind as you're watching this kind of play out here in real time?
Yeah, I just focus on us, worry about us, and when I say that, it's not just our situation, but the individuals on our team, and keep doing what we set out to do. Our coaching philosophy is about the transformation of these guys, and I think their development and growth is one thing, but just the relationships and them seeing the pouring into them as coaches that we do. I think it helps keep the group together. I think it's bringing them together in another way where their relationships as teammates is continuing to improve, and they enjoying the moments being a college football player, and I think they're really seeing the value that Alabama brings, and wanting to make sure that this next season's a huge success.
Coach, going into 2025, spring practice is wrapped up. What's your pitch to the fans? Why should they be excited about your second year on the capstone?
Yeah, I just think there's a lot of continuity, a lot of guys that made a decision and felt like there was things that were whether it's unfinished business. I've heard that from a few guys, or just some things that they want to continue to build on. They have that belief and trust that we can do that, not just in themselves, but in what we do in our program and how we operate. So. Just excited for that time when it comes. We still have a lot of work to do. This whole summer, and when you build your team is during the summer, added to what we've done already. Really looking forward to the grit that I think this team will have when we get out in the field. Us taking the experiences we had from last year now, learning from them, and moving forward.
Coach, what do you know about a Florida State team coached by their
I know that
coach?
they got a lot of change. Defense, offensive coordinators, guys who are veterans that understand the game on a high level, and so we'll dive into that this summer and figure out exactly how we want to approach that going into week one. That's going to be a big one. We got to be on the road. We got to be better on the road than we were a year ago. So that's another piece to it. That's again focusing on ourselves, but a lot of new players coming into their program, and we'll have to weigh all that and kind of sort through that as a coaching staff, and then pass that on to our guys when it's appropriate time.
Thank you, Coach.